Robert eats lunch alone. He has for years. Then a teacher gives the class a salute, and Robert finally belongs. 5 days later, he's guarding the door of a fascist movement. 1967, a normal California high school. And every kid in that room went with him. You're sure you'd have been the one to say no. So was everyone. And your teacher, Ron Jones, was the nicest man in the building, which is exactly why it worked. A few days earlier, one of you had asked him a question he couldn't answer. You're studying Nazi Germany, and somebody wants to know how ordinary Germans let it happen, how millions of normal people looked away and later swore they never knew. Jones didn't have a good answer, so he decided to build you one. A little experiment. 1 week, he'd shut it down Friday. It got so far out of his hands that by Friday, he had to shut it down in front of them, and you're sitting in the second row for all of it. Monday, he changes one thing. Discipline. Sit up straight. Feet flat. Hands folded on the desk. When you answer, you stand beside your desk and start with, Mr. Jones. He drills it. Again and again, until 30 kids can snap to attention in a few seconds. It's silly. It's a game. Everyone plays along, and it feels good. That's the part nobody warns you about. The room is sharper, faster. You're getting the answers right. There's no grade for it. No punishment either. Just the feeling of doing it together. Perfectly. A dead boring third period class suddenly feels like it matters. He gives the feeling a motto. Strength through discipline. You walk out Monday oddly proud of sitting up straight. Tuesday, one line isn't enough. He gives them a second. Strength through community. A community needs a name. He calls it the third wave, and it gets a salute. A cupped hand, raised to the shoulder, curved like a wave. He gives the command, and 30 hands snap up at once. You feel it in your chest. Inside this room, you greet each other with it. Then in the hallway, then the parking lot, then everywhere. By now, it isn't really about the history lesson. It's about belonging to something and knowing exactly who else does. Wednesday is when it stops being a game. He hands out membership cards. The class is about 30 kids. By Wednesday, over 200 want in. Students are skipping their other classes just to sit on the floor of this one. Kids who were never invited to anything are suddenly inside something. He appoints monitors. A few cards get a small red X. Those kids report anyone who breaks the rules. He never has to ask twice. Students start turning in their own friends. Nobody made them. It was a group chat that suddenly had rules, and everyone wanted to be a mod. By now, the room polices itself. Jones barely has to speak. 3 boys appoint themselves his bodyguards. They follow him to the parking lot. One of them is Robert, the kid who ate lunch alone. Robert has never mattered to anyone. Now he tells Jones, I'm your guard now. I'll protect you. By Thursday, Jones is scared of what he's built, and he does it anyway. He adds the last line, strength through action. And he tells them a lie, just to see if they'll swallow it. This isn't just our class, he says. It's a national movement. There are third wave chapters in schools all over the country. And tomorrow at noon, a national leader will appear on television to announce it. They believe him. Of course they do. They want it to be true. The kids who won't salute stop being ignored and start being watched. One girl writes that she's afraid of her own classmates. She's right to be. Friday noon. Over 200 students pack the room for the announcement. Banners. The salute. Even a couple of reporters for a movement that doesn't exist. Robert stands guard at the door. Dead serious. At noon, Jones switches on the television. Static. Nothing. No leader. No announcement. The room gets restless, then confused. That's when Jones plays them a different film. It's Nuremberg. Rows of ordinary Germans saluting, roaring. Sure, they were the good ones. For a second, you don't understand. Then you do. The same salute, the same shining faces, the same feeling you had all week. The room goes dead silent. You thought you were special, he tells them. You thought you'd never be them. You're exactly the same. The movement was never real. The leader was never coming. There was only this room, and how fast you filled it. Some of them are crying. They just watched themselves become the thing they were studying. In 5 days, most people file the third wave under gullible teenagers, a long time ago. As if you're the exception. You're not. Jones wrote the whole thing down himself. Years later, every word of it on the record, and it was never a clean experiment. No control group, no data, just a real teacher and real kids. That's exactly why it lands. Because it wasn't fear that pulled them in. Nobody was threatened. It was belonging. A salute, a card, and the feeling that you finally mattered. The same pull that made ordinary people obey down the coast in the Milgram experiment. It doesn't take monsters. 5 days and a group that wants you is enough. So when you say it could never happen here, remember that the kids in that room said it too, right up until Wednesday.